is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show. Your war room for insider news and draft analysis from deep within the confines of Cowboys headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
And now, your host, Kyle Youmans.
Today is January 29, 2025, and we are officially 85 days away from the NFL Draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Welcome into the Draft Show presented by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. We are back on Radio Row of the 2025 Reese's Senior Bowl. We're going to talk to some of the greatest prospects in this NFL draft class, including Jared Ivey of Ole Miss, edge rusher, defensive lineman extraordinaire. And that's the first question I'm going to ask you, Jared. We've got Nick Harris, Tommy Yarrish, Kyle Youmans here with the Draft Show. Where do you feel like you fit best on that defensive line? You've got some versatility up front. What are the teams looking at this week?
Yeah, no, I love rushing the edge, but I'm a do-it-all guy, and I love sliding inside, rushing inside too. Yeah, it's hard to pick. You know, I got production from all spots, so I want to be a plug-and-play guy anywhere I go.
You ended up measuring in very well throughout the week, and you got off to a great start yesterday in practice. How do you feel like that first session went?
It went really good. Got loose in one-on-ones and had a nice start to the day. Indy was really smooth, and it was good to work and compete around some great players with some great coaches. So, taking that into the team period, it was nice to open up and get back to running to the ball again and making plays in 11-on-11. So, yeah, all around just a really good day.
A big part of this process is obviously meeting with teams. What's gone into that for you this week? How's that gone?
Those have been great. You know, after the first couple, you know, you start to get the hang of it and get into kind of a flow and anticipate questions and have your stuff formulated. So it's been nice to get to know some of these scouts and coaches. Mike Tomlin was here last night, and he's an unbelievable guy. So being around just some great minds and it's been awesome. Have
you met with the Cowboys yet by chance?
I have, yeah.
How'd that go?
It went really nice and got to learn a lot about, you know, where they see me and the kind of prospect they see me as, and it kind of aligns with my views on myself. So great conversation.
Yeah.
And kind of going more in depth on that with the Cowboys, did they see you more as an edge rusher, as a defensive lineman, a mixture of both? You mentioned your versatility. Where did they see you projecting?
I think just a mixture of both. I think being able to do what I've been doing at Ole Miss and rushing inside, rushing outside, playing 5, 6 eyes, 9s, 3s, 4 eyes, like just, you know, being a do-it-all guy.
And was that kind of the same sentiment with all the teams that you met with yesterday, or were there some that maybe had a little bit more of a different plan in one spot versus the other, things like that?
More or less, but I'm not exactly familiar on who runs what. So obviously that definitely plays a part. But as far as the conversations went, I think everybody was super jacked and excited about my versatility. So, as am I, and I want to continue to be that type of player going forward.
Is there anybody at the NFL level that you model your game after? Because the Cowboys have had some guys that have gone inside and out and had that success on the defensive line doing so, but does anybody stick out to you?
There's a few guys that stick out. I mean, Cam Jordan, Myles Garrett, guys like Eric Armstead, DeForest Buckner, guys that, you know, slide all around the yard and can get production from anywhere.
You guys have a lot of talent here from Ole Miss as well. We'll get a chance to catch up with Walter Nolan here in a little bit as well. I mean, talk about how much that group helped you grow throughout your tenure in Ole Miss and having an opportunity to now come to the Senior Bowl with those guys.
As far as the work at practice, it was second to none. Some of our indie sessions and one-on-ones versus our offensive line is just it's cool to be able to compete and go hard with guys that also go hard and make plays. And then on top of that, like being on the field with them on Saturday, right, it frees up so much space. It creates so many more one-on-ones. Like you're able to get on so many edges and so much isolation playing with other guys because it's hard to double. You really can't double anybody.
I've heard good notes about your knowledge of the game, IQ of the game. How much studying do you put into that aspect of what you have in the game?
Yeah, I love the game. I think studying is a double-sided question because, these coaches, like, they live, eat, sleep, breathe this game, like, stay up 3 in the morning creating these game plans. So just learning from them and listening and taking notes in meetings, like, I've learned so much about the game the past few years, just being around some great coaches and taking my nuggets where I can.
If you had to go back and tell the Jared Ivey that was entering Georgia Tech as a young freshman, what would you tell him?
I'll tell him just stick the course and always bet on yourself. You know, it was tough to make that decision to hit the portal and take that chance, but I would never go back and change that. It gave me this opportunity to be here today.
Who are you off the field?
Just lay back, relax. I like to golf, fish, cook. I be at the crib. I got a really small family, so I love to just spend time and hang out and chill with my family.
That's awesome. You going to get a couple strokes in while you're out here?
I wish. We're not having too much off time. It would have been nice. We played at where's it? And we played in Jacksonville. What's that? TPC Sawgrass.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We stayed at the Sawgrass Marriott.
Wow.
So if I had stayed another day, I came home early and trained. But my buddy that I'm always golfing with in Oxford, he stayed an extra day and played one of the courses, which I would have loved to do, but
But you're locked in. That's what it is.
I had to get to work. So,
there you go.
And I would have been out there probably for a week on one green. So.
And there you go. You've got a couple people that wear this logo that are avid golfers as well, so you would fit right in the building. What would it mean to be drafted by the Dallas Cowboys?
It'd be awesome, historic program, the gray pants, and then, historic Jerry Jones. So obviously, very well-known owner. Dak Prescott, a very solid, even though he is a Bulldog, solid vet, really great player. And Sam's up there. I didn't cross over with him in my time at Ole Miss, but hearing stories about him and seeing him on the tape when I had first got there, and he's a great player. So obviously Micah, I had my little podcast deal. That I know he's big into that, so that was very cool. And just a great group of guys and a good team looking to get over the hump.
Well, you're welcome on our podcast anytime you want along the way. Appreciate you taking some time. Good luck this week. And, of course, keep on rocking going into the Senior Bowl of all these practices throughout the week.
All right. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah. Jared Ivey, Ole Miss edge rusher, joining us here from the Reese Senior Bowl. We've got more to come right after this from Radio Row.
Here we go.
Tyler from Dude Perfect here. Big news. We just dropped our very own Dude Perfect smoothie with Smoothie King.
We is strong. It's my recipe.
Technically, we all came up with it, Kobe?
I mean, you put a potato in yours.
I was experimenting.
Yeah, we picked up on that. Guys, this is fruit smoothie perfection. I even heard it recently quoted that it was food perfect.
Yeah, I was one that said that.
Oh, that was funny. It's punny.
Thank you. Anyways, get the Dude Perfect smoothie only at Smoothie King.
My smoothie.
Hi, Drew Pearson, former Dallas Cowboy and now Pro Football Hall of Famer here. If you're struggling with your vision and tired of those contacts and glasses, don't throw a Hail Mary. Go where I went. Laser Care Eye Center, the official LASIK partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Drew, thank you so much for trusting us with your vision correction procedure. At Laser Care Eye Center, we offer 6 different vision correction procedures to help patients see.
Check them out at dfweyes.com. Tell them Drew sent you. Hood hood.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
This is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show.
Welcome back to Radio Row here in Mobile, Alabama, alongside Nick Harris, Tommy Yarrish. I'm Kyle Youmans. We now have the running back from Kansas. You know his name already, Devin Neal. And I just told you off air, we have a lot of film buffs that love what you've brought to the table from a film element. What is this week going to do for you to help elevate that draft stock?
Yeah, I think for me it's really important to prove that I can be an every down back. And, route running and winning my one-on-ones is big, and then obviously pass pro too. And then, I think just showing continued strides and getting better in the run game. I mean, there's some dudes out here on D-line, so not everything's going to clear up. And we have some guys on O-line too, so just running consistently and knowing my job and my landmarks and play calling. It's an NFL pro-style offense, so just getting used to that because this is my process now. And so just showing that I can do that and be consistent in that aspect too.
Well, and you're very versatile as well. You bring a vast skill set to the table. You mentioned a couple elements there. One that I've been very impressed with is the ability to receive out of the backfield and catch out of the backfield. How much of a growth did you see during your time in Lawrence and taking a step forward in that element, and how are you going to bring that to the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, just, honestly, just having those conversations with coaches like, hey, I need to get involved more, and, I don't have to always just run the ball. And we went a lot of two-back stuff. You can see it on film. And there was times where, hey, our other running back would be back there, and I'd split out a little bit and motion out and go do some things too. So just being able to be versatile, like you said, I think it's important to be every down back. I think it's a trait that I bring, and not everyone can bring that. So, and then I think just showing strides of being good in pass game. I think early on in my career I sucked at pass pro, to be quite honest with you, because I just wasn't heavy enough. And then, growing into it, especially this past year, like I was really consistent in that aspect, and I was really good. And then just knowing my ID and then taking guys at the line of scrimmage and, just keeping them there and not getting in the lap of the quarterback.
I'd be curious to know your perspective, because obviously this is a great running back class, one of the best in probably the last decade. And I know a lot of players can suffer from comparison during this process and trying to compare yourself to other guys. How do you kind of stay in who you are and trying to get what you have to get done at the end of the day to be the best possible draft pick?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just believe that comparison is a thief of joy. I try not to get into, who's this and what are they doing. I just go out there and put my best foot forward and, go prove what I do and show my versatility on tape. Just play and be effective in everything I do. And, I think coaches, at least the coaches I've talked to, understand my perspective and my mindset to dominate anything I do and, not get into, I think I'm better than this guy or I think I'm better than this guy, because honestly it doesn't matter. As long as you end up in the right place and the right fit, everything can go right for you.
Yeah, the two biggest boxes for me that you have to check at the running back position is reliability and consistency. You have both of that. I think you only missed one game in your career at Kansas.
My freshman year.
And then 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Kind of speak to those two things and being, keeping your body in shape but also being ready on game day.
I mean, durability is the best ability you have, being available on the field. And it's a lot of work and taking care of your body. I spend about 3 to 4 hours every day working on my body, and just because I play a grueling position, you have to stay right. And you have to be fresh for game day. And consistency, I just think that's a product of my work. Each offseason I'm finding new ways to get better. I never get satisfied in my work just because I know I can get better on certain things. And that's what's helped me, because guys have known my name in the Big 12. I've played since my freshman year. So, it makes that even harder. You can't sneak up on anybody, and can't, especially with us growing as a team. So you have to always find a way to get better. And I think I've found ways to get better each and every season.
So much of the Senior Bowl process is not just going on the field and showing NFL scouts what you can do, but going in those interview rooms too and talking to teams. Have you met with the Dallas Cowboys yet?
Briefly, I did. I actually joked with Mr. Vaughn just because I'm good friends with Deuce.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it was funny just talking with them a little bit. There was more background information. We talked a little bit of ball, but I have met with them,
Little sunflower beef.
Sunflower beef. Yeah, there's a bunch of KU guys on their staff, luckily enough. So I love it.
There you go. You got some backing. What was that conversation like? I mean, you mentioned background, but some of the ball stuff, what did they tell you? Did they give you any feedback, what they liked about you, things like that?
No, it was more of just, understand, like they want to see how much I know football. And, I think a lot of this process is they want to see, can a guy adapt to a scheme? Does he know scheme? Does he know defenses? And those are all traits I bring. I think off the field, people don't understand. Like I bring a really smart perspective to the game. Like I understand the game and understand, coverages. I understand backer alignment. I understand D-line fronts. And I just understand so much and just so smart when it comes to that. And it's an underrated thing because it just helps you play faster.
And you continue to take those steps forward. I thought one thing that you said there was interesting. How quickly you remembered the one game that you missed your freshman year.
Yeah.
Does that eat at you a little bit if you were to miss time in the NFL? Because, like you said, it's a grueling sport and a grueling position.
Yeah, man. I want to be on the field. You know, I'm a competitor. I love playing this game, and, you know, I'm really detail-oriented, so I know a lot of things, you know, especially in my past, just understanding, like, hey, I did miss that game because of injury, but I truly believe it's because I was too small. And, you know, I just kind of got thrown into the fire my last year, or my freshman year, and, you know, it is what it is, though. You know, I learned so much from that season, and it helped propel me into my career, so.
It certainly did. You also mentioned that you spend 4 to 5 hours a day, or 3 to 4 hours a day working on your body. Just give us an example. What is a normal day in the life of Devin Neal leading up to this draft process like?
Ooh, right now or when I'm in the facility?
In the facility. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'll just spend, like, a lot of time stretching, rolling out, and then, you know, there's a little less at the facility I'm working at, you know, in Fort Lauderdale, but, you know, at KU, you know, we have a cryo chamber, we have cold tubs, we have hot tubs, we have Normatex, we have acupuncture, we have so much stuff, and, you know, whatever they allow me to do, I'm going to do, just to make sure, hey, this body part feels good, let's move on to the next one, and just make sure, you know, everything's feeling good so I can go into the practice feeling fresh. And, you know, one thing I love about Coach Leipold, he's all about, you know, guys feeling fresh for the next day. He didn't want to beat guys up too much and have us be there until 9 p.m., and we practice in the morning, so we're waking up at 5, so we wanted a good turnaround of just rest and recovery. And so I'll spend a lot of time doing a lot of different things just to make sure, like I said, to feel good.
Your last year at Kansas, you go from an Andy Koldenicki offense to Coach Zabrowski's scheme. What was that transition like for you, and what did you learn from those two to kind of make you that versatile all-around back?
Yeah, I mean, going from Coach K, and it was actually Coach Grimes. Coach Z just got hired as a new OC.
Oh, okay, my fault. Yeah, Coach Grimes.
But, you know, it was hard for us, and I think you can kind of see that early on in film, the transition, because, you know, you see what Penn State's doing with Coach K. That's a lot of what we did, you know, and just the two-back stuff being really versatile, complementary football. And, you know, you just had to get used to more of a wide zone attack and more downhill attack with him. And I just didn't think we found our identity till late, you know, and it was hard, but, you know, he taught me a lot of things. He's coached a lot of good running backs. He coached Algier, and, you know, it just helped propel me to understand blocking assignments, gap scheme, and different things like that. So he really helped me and, you know, gave me a different outlook and looking at how to run the football.
Yeah, the wide zone downhill stuff I feel like is kind of taking an increase in importance, especially if you look back at this last year in the NFL, just because of Saquon, Derrick Henry, all these guys being able to kind of, you know, erupt in this past season. What's kind of your evaluation as far as the run game in the NFL and where it's at right now?
I love where it's at. Honestly, I feel like it's still undervalued. It's so undervalued. You know, what a running back can bring to a team. You know, like you said, you can see with Saquon, you see with guys like Derrick Henry. You can also see early on with, you know, 49ers running backs, you know, and it's just so vital. We do everything. We're the only other position on the field that has to know what the quarterback knows, you know, and I think it's so vital to your team, and it can bring so much value and help you win games. So I just love where it's at. I love where it's going, and, you know, I hope we keep finding more ways to value the running back.
Well, and there's, of course, a lot of value in the running back in Dallas, too, a team that's on the clock looking for a running back throughout this draft class. Emmitt Smith, you've got Tony Dorsett, you've got the greats that have run the ball in Dallas. What would it mean to be a part of that lineage?
Yeah, I mean, it would be special for me. And not only that, you know, special just to play for, you know, such a remarkable, you know, organization that's known everywhere, you know. And, you know, I've always watched the Cowboys and just understanding, you know, I was a big Ezekiel Elliott fan growing up. And, you know, just everything like that. And, yeah, it would be special to play for them for sure.
No doubt about it. Devin, thanks so much for taking some time. Good luck for the rest of the week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Devin Neal, running back from Kansas, joining us on the Draft Show. We'll be right back with more right after this.
I'm Darren Woodson, former Dallas Cowboy player and Super Bowl champion. When I played in the NFL at a high level, I relied on my vision to see the field. As I started getting older, I noticed my vision wasn't as good, and I was getting frustrated from wearing my glasses all day. I went to Laser Care Eye Center, and Dr. G talked about all the options. Thanks to technology and Laser Care Eye Center, I can see near, far, and between. Don't fumble your vision any longer. Visit them at dfweyes.com and tell them Darren sent you. They got me back on my game.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Here we go.
Tyler from Dude Perfect here. Big news. We just dropped our very own Dude Perfect smoothie with Smoothie King.
We is strong. It's my recipe.
Technically, we all came up with it, Kobe?
I mean, you put a potato in yours.
I was experimenting.
Yeah, we picked up on that. Guys, this is fruit smoothie perfection. I even heard it recently quoted that it was food perfect.
Yeah, I was the one that said that.
Oh, that's funny. It's punny.
Thank you. Anyways, get the Dude Perfect smoothie only at Smoothie King.
My smoothie.
How about them Cowboys? Or how about them Tyson Cowboys Nuggets? As we cheer for the stars on the field, we love that we've also got some stars on our plate, thanks to Tyson brand star-shaped Cowboys Nuggets. That, along with all our other favorite Tyson Foods products, sure make game day special. Score some delicious Tyson Cowboys Nuggets and become a game day star, just like our Cowboys. As you enjoy your stars on and off the plate, remember, tailgates and game day have always been Tyson.
This is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show.
Welcome back into the Draft Show presented by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys taste you can depend on. We've got another special guest here, a part of Reese's Senior Bowl week. We've got RJ Harvey, running back from UCF, Central Florida. You were born and raised in Orlando, got to play there with UCF and the Knights. I mean, what was that whole process like, getting to play in your hometown, and how cool was that?
Yeah, it was great. It was a blessing for me. You know, all my family, they were able to come out to the games. You know, I used to have like over 20 people come out to every home game. Yeah, it was big for them. You know, my mom and dad, they never missed a game, so I had a great support system. But yeah, it was convenient for like 40 minutes from my house growing up, and I could go back and forth. I used to go back and forth probably like every Sunday, spend time with them, and yeah, it was just a blessing. You know, a lot of guys don't get that opportunity.
No doubt about that, but you have an opportunity here to go up against some of the best of the draft class and take your game to the next level. What made you ready for this moment during your time at UCF?
Yeah, just hard work and dedication. You know, I tore my ACL in 2021, and but that was before I even touched the field. You know, I've been in college since 2019, but I didn't touch the field. I didn't touch the field playing running back until 2022. That was really my first year, like actually playing against another opponent. But yeah, it was a tough transition. But you know, just I put my head down and just learned from all my coaches and my the vets that were in the running back room. They were great guys, and they taught me a lot, taught me what they did to get better. I just took all that information in and continued to stack days, and eventually I got to where I am now.
Whenever you did touch the field, production came with it. Over 1,400 yards last year, over 1,500 this past season. Where would you say your production is a credit to?
Just a lot of studying, a lot of film work, getting one-on-ones with my position coach, and getting extra work in with the other running backs and quarterbacks, and just putting in a lot of work on my own, training, doing a lot of agility drills, trying to work on my jump cuts, getting better at my jump cuts. Just trying to get faster, just a whole lot.
We were talking with Devin Neal about this a little bit earlier. This is such a good running back class, and there's guys that could go 6th, 7th round that maybe in any other draft they'd probably be 4th, 5th.
Yeah.
I know you can kind of suffer from comparison and comparing yourself to other guys. How can you kind of stay locked into what you have going on to be the best version of RJ Harvey at the end of the day?
Yeah, I don't really try to worry about anybody else. You know, all these guys, you know, we all got the same dream and aspiration to go to the NFL, and I never hate on those guys. You know, all these running backs that I've met here, they all cool. Ali, Devin, who else? Trevor, all the guys that I'm with, Marcus, Jaquez, Hunter. Every running back.
That's pretty good, just naming off these guys that you just met like this. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and me and Rashad Smith, we're roommates, so we getting along. We're both tight right now. So, and you know, he's a Florida boy too, so I can relate to him. So, yeah.
A lot of this process too is, you know, not only showing scouts what you can do on the field at these practices and in the game setting, but going and meeting with NFL teams and NFL front offices and management. What have those meetings been like? And have you met with the Dallas Cowboys yet? Is that somebody you've had a conversation with? And if you did, how'd that conversation go?
Yeah, I pretty much met with pretty much every team, honestly. But yeah, definitely Dallas. I feel like that interview, it really went well. You know, it was smiles on their faces, so I'm pretty sure it went well.
Yeah, that's always a good first step. In those interview settings, and if you can remember with Dallas, what were some of the things that, you know, front offices or general managers or scouts have said to you in terms of your game, maybe what you can do better, things like that?
Yeah, they told me they like me a lot. They love my film. You know, they like the fact that I can make something out of nothing. They know I'm fast. I can run somebody over. But yeah, definitely. I told them, and they already knew that I definitely got to work on, you know, pass protection. It's something that I'm focusing on. That's going to be a focus today when we go against the linebackers, and yeah, pretty much pass protection and making sure ball security, keep it high and tight. Yep.
So one of the things that NFL teams covet about this week is also the NFL style of practice that they do run during these Senior Bowl practices. How does that compare to some of the practices and sessions that you had during your time at UCF and the way that you trained in Orlando?
Yeah, I feel like the way that we practice at UCF, it pretty much prepared us for how we're practicing now. You know, here we didn't get at UCF. We got a couple breaks in between practices. You know, 'cause we were in Florida. You know, it's hot every practice, but here we didn't get any breaks. But I feel great. Yesterday I was out there feeling good for sure.
The state of the run game in the NFL. What's kind of your perspective of it, and how do you think you fit into it at the next level?
I feel like Saquon and Derrick Henry. I feel like they really like, you know, running back. Everybody, a lot of people, they overlook the running back position, and I feel like what Saquon and Derrick Henry did this year, they really made people realize, like, oh yeah, to make an offense run, like to be successful, you need to have a great running game, and yeah, I feel like there's gonna be a lot of running backs drafted this year. There's gonna be a lot.
Even younger, smaller guys like Bucky Irving coming out last year, obviously in Florida. Did you grow up a Buccaneers fan?
Me and my family were Dolphins fans.
Okay, gotcha. I was just curious about Bucky Irving being a younger, smaller guy. I mean, how much influence do you take off that? Do you kind of see yourself in a similar role at the next level as Bucky?
Yeah, I love his game. You know, me and him, we pretty much similar. You know, he's wearing number 7, so he kind of looks like me back there. I feel like, but I love his game. You know, he went in as a rookie, just made an impact quick, and I love that about him.
Well, the Dolphins have their own identity, too, in the backfield because they've got guys like Achane and they've got Mostert, which is just pure speed. I mean, where do you feel like your speed compares to the NFL level?
Yeah, I feel like I got pretty good speed. I know I'm going to test well in the 40.
Yeah. What is testing well for you? What are you trying to hit?
I want to hit. My goal is to hit a 4.3, but I know for sure I hit a 4.4.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. We're wrapping up the first day of practice yesterday. You get to go up against some pretty good defensive tackles, too. It's a good defensive tackle group here. How do you feel like you played against them? And if you're, thinking back on practice yesterday, what do you feel like you did and didn't do well?
Yeah, that defensive line group, they're some dogs. But just getting used to the pro style offense. You know, we at UCF we never did any type of under the center formations or plays, and just that footwork that you need to at the running back position. It's just different getting the ball than getting it out of gun. So I just got to get used to that, and today should be a way better day for sure.
All right. Well, RJ, we're going to let you go. We know it's a busy day of practice ahead of you. Good luck for the rest of the week. And, of course, we'll hear your name coming up in April. Can't wait to do so.
Thank you.
RJ Harvey from UCF joining us here on the Draft Show. When we come back, we're going to preview day 2 of practice here in Mobile and talk about some of these other prospects that have shown out already here in Alabama. More to come right after this.
Here we go.
Tyler from Dude Perfect here. Big news. We just dropped our very own Dude Perfect smoothie with Smoothie King.
We is strong. It's my recipe.
Technically, we all came up with it, Kobe?
I mean, you put a potato in yours.
I was experimenting.
Yeah, we picked up on that. Guys, this is fruit smoothie perfection. I even heard it recently quoted that it was food perfect.
Yeah, I was the one that said that.
Oh, that's funny. It's punny.
Thank you. Anyways, get the Dude Perfect smoothie only at Smoothie King.
My smoothie.
Hi, Drew Pearson, former Dallas Cowboy and now Pro Football Hall of Famer here. If you're struggling with your vision and tired of those contacts and glasses, don't throw a Hail Mary. Go where I went. Laser Care Eye Center, the official LASIK partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Drew, thank you so much for trusting us with your vision correction procedure. At Laser Care Eye Center, we offer 6 different vision correction procedures to help patients see.
Check them out at dfweyes.com. Tell them Drew sent you. Hood hood.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
This is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show.
Things continue to roll on here from Mobile, Alabama, in the 2025 Reese's Senior Bowl, as we've got our next guest here on the Draft Show, presented by Miller Lite. Ole Miss defensive lineman Walter Nolan joining us here on the Draft Show. Walter, first off, your presence is felt whether you're walking in the room or whether you're on the gridiron. We saw you from afar yesterday, even wrote about you on the website a little bit yesterday as well. How do you feel like that first day went?
I feel like it was a pretty good foundation. I came here to show my consistent growth, so I just want to show people my consistent, just building up every day.
And you were talking about before we got on air here, about being tired of double teams. You saw some double teams yesterday. I mean, you worked through a couple of them. I mean, what's this competition level been like for you?
Now it's just quote unquote the best of the best. So. It's probably a little harder double team, but it ain't nothing. I ain't scared of that.
Yeah. As far as having a target on your back, I mean, you've had that since you were in high school. Number 1 overall recruit coming out, going into Texas A&M, having an early presence there. How have you kind of adjusted to being the guy and being the number on the field that people look at?
I love it.
Yep.
I feel like they kind of bring more out of me. Like I want the eggs on my back, honestly. I feel like. Because if I got somebody coming after me, it's just going to make me go harder, honestly. So.
Yeah, as far as speed to power, how much have you influenced that within your game over the course of your college career and being able to maximize that? Because I think when it comes to short area quickness and turning that into hand power and upper body leverage, I think you're one of the best in this class at it. How would you say you've grown in that department?
Really just, at first I wasn't the best at the speed to power, but they're really just trying to make people fear my get off so I can set that up. Mm-hmm. And, I feel like I done got better at it ever since I started. So.
When you look at this defensive tackle class, a lot of people talk about Mason Graham and yourself and Deion Walker. What separates you from the rest of them, and what makes you the special defensive tackle in this class, in your opinion?
Just turn the tape on, honestly. I feel like I'm smaller than both of them, and I get more double and triple team than both of them. So I feel like they kind of speak for itself. But, I ain't here to talk down on nobody. They both great players. I just feel like I'm better, honestly.
That's the elite competitor side, though, right?
Yeah.
You're always going to think you're better, but you have certainly put it on tape and put it on film. As I said, there's a lot of buffs that watch here on the draft show and the film, and they love what you do. When you talk about
that defensive line at Ole Miss. You guys had so much success, and even the Cowboys have dipped into that with Sam Williams over the last couple of years. I mean, what's it been like being a part of that program and the guys around you that have helped elevate your game?
Really just the culture that they got over there, it's really a player-led team, and that was kind of a first for me, it was fun, they try to make everything fun. It was really you could really feel the love and the family in the air for the most part.
Yeah. I think that Texas A&M signing class that you were a part of, obviously there was a lot of big expectations, big hopes for that. And all those guys that you entered with, I know y'all were all super close. Not everything works out in this game, obviously. What would you say about the time at Texas A&M kind of shaped your experience as a football player, not only on the field but off the field, and just kind of learning how the business works at the end of the day, too?
I kind of got a little taste of it early. We didn't have the season that we wanted. A lot of players left, and as you kind of see that in the league all the time after the season, and you can see a complete different team. I feel like the transfer portal kind of opened it up for all the college athletes to kind of get an early taste of what's going on in the league. I kind of felt like we were gonna go get it all, but like I said, I feel like we just couldn't really get like a steady culture going on. I feel like I don't regret it, but I just feel like we could have got that going a little bit better.
But you still tap in with guys like Shamar here, right, and the guys you were a part of.
Yeah, I talk to everybody.
Yeah.
The only people I don't talk to is probably the coaches there.
Yeah.
About it.
Yeah.
So much of the Senior Bowl process, not just going out on the field and showing scouts what you can do there, but going in those meeting rooms and interviewing with teams. For the start, have you talked with the Dallas Cowboys at all? And if you have, what have those conversations been like?
No, actually, I haven't. I might talk to them today. You never know. I'm just blessed to be here. If they want to talk to me, I'm thankful. Just let me know. Honestly.
With the teams that you have spoken to, what have those conversations been like? And what are some of the things that they've told you? Whether it be how to improve your game, what they like about you, how you fit into their scheme, things like that.
Honestly, it's just been a kind of. It's been a kind of like just get to know Walter Nolan, honestly. I don't really get on a lot of interviews or do a lot of media stuff, so really just giving people a chance to actually get to know me as a person instead of just having the helmet on.
So pull the curtain back for us a little bit. What's Walter Nolan like off the field? Who is Walter Nolan?
I'm just a laid-back guy. I be out the way. I be chilling.
Chill guy.
What's your big hobby outside of football?
Oh, I be on the video game.
Yeah? What are you playing?
I be playing Call of Duty, NCAA, Madden, all that good stuff.
There you go.
Do you always play as Ole Miss whenever you're playing college football?
Yes and no. It just be like sometimes our O-line will piss me off, and then
just not Tennessee, right?
Nah, I ain't played with Tennessee on that.
Never. Yeah. Who are some of the better players you've gone up against throughout your career? Because, like you said, you've been a part of two great programs, two great defensive units. Who are some of the offensive guys you've gone up against in the past?
Really, I know I don't gotta guard him, but Evan Stewart. He nice. I feel like he a technician with them feet out there on that island. Tyler Booker, we've been having battles since high school. Like you said, Will Campbell, Emory Jones. The list can go on forever, but like I was saying, I feel like every player is special in their own way, So. Every time you go against somebody, you're gonna always get like a different. It's something different every time. So.
Yeah. If you had one game to point at and say, if you're gonna watch my film, this is the game that I'm most proud of, what would that game be?
I really just say watch the LSU game, or just pick a game for the most part. I just feel like you can see my competitiveness and my eager to win in all my games. And, I just say LSU just because I played through a lot of double teams and triple teams. And, what's crazy? At the end of the season, I'm just starting to see all the pictures of triple teams just popping up on Twitter. So it's been kind of fun to see that, too.
Yeah.
No doubt. This is a defensive front in Dallas that has some talent on it. Of course, Micah Parsons leading the way in that category. I mean, what would it mean to you to be a part of that unit and to play alongside a lot of those guys?
You know, I feel like me and Michael Parsons probably got that same mindset going into football, and I feel like if they were to put us together, who knows what would happen. With me on the inside and him on the outside, you wouldn't be able to come that way for sure.
You got anybody in the league that you model your game after?
Well, he's not in the league no more, but Aaron Donald.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good one for sure. Walter Nolan joining us here from Ole Miss, the defensive lineman here, part of the Senior Bowl week in Mobile. Walter, thanks for taking some time. We really appreciate it. Good luck along the way. We're cheering for you, and good luck however things land in the NFL draft.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate y'all for having me.
All right, we've got more of the Draft Show coming up right after this. Radio Row here at the Reese's Senior Bowl.
I'm Darren Woodson, former Dallas Cowboy player and Super Bowl champion. When I played in the NFL at a high level, I relied on my vision to see the field. As I started getting older, I noticed my vision wasn't as good, and I was getting frustrated from wearing my glasses all day. I went to Laser Care Eye Center, and Dr. G talked about all the options. Thanks to technology and Laser Care Eye Center, I can see near, far, and between. Don't fumble your vision any longer. Visit them at dfweyes.com and tell them Darren sent you. They got me back on my game.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Here we go.
Tyler from Dude Perfect here. Big news. We just dropped our very own Dude Perfect smoothie with Smoothie King.
We is strong. It's my recipe.
Technically, we all came up with it, Kobe?
I mean, you put a potato in yours.
I was experimenting.
Yeah, we picked up on that. Guys, this is fruit smoothie perfection. I even heard it recently quoted that it was food perfect.
Yeah, I was one that said that.
Oh, it was funny. It was punny.
Thank you. Anyways, get the Dude Perfect smoothie only at Smoothie King.
My smoothie.
How about them Cowboys? Or how about them Tyson Cowboys Nuggets? As we cheer for the stars on the field, we love that we've also got some stars on our plate, thanks to Tyson brand star-shaped Cowboys Nuggets. That, along with all our other favorite Tyson Foods products, sure make game day special. Score some delicious Tyson Cowboys Nuggets and become a game day star, just like our Cowboys. As you enjoy your stars on and off the plate, remember, tailgates and game day have always been Tyson.
This is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show.
All right, back here on Radio Row, Reese's Senior Bowl 2025 in Mobile, Alabama. Nick Harris, Tommy Yarrish. I'm Kyle Youmans. Great catching up again with these prospects. I know a lot of our viewership wants to hear about the breakdown of the Senior Bowl and the film and all this stuff, but it is an opportunity, just like the teams that are in Mobile this week, to get to know these guys at a different level. So I always appreciate getting to talk to them and kind of hear their side of the story.
I like both of the backs. Both of the backs were fun. I mean, both of the Ole Miss guys too. But I mean, this running back class, I know we've talked about it ad nauseum. We are going to continue to talk about it ad nauseum. It's a good year to need a running back. I'll say that. And I was actually obviously here in Mobile at Senior Bowl, there's a lot that, a lot of conversations you find yourself in at night, and there's a lot of conversations about Rico Dowdle's free agent market and what exactly that will look like. Does it get to a point to where, since this free agent class is not as strong at the running back position, not even just last year, because last year was super special, but even going back for probably like the past half decade, there's not a lot of guys that are hitting free agency right now. So does Rico Dowdle have an inflated market as a result of that, and does he kind of shoot his coverage as far as the Cowboys trying to get him back on the payroll? So if that's the case, then you can make the case for double dipping at the running back position in this draft. Go get one in the first 2-3 rounds and then get another one on day 3, or get a really talented undrafted guy. There are going to be a very talented undrafted guys at the running back position in this class. So, talking to two of these guys today, two guys that have a ton of production. RJ Harvey, the only one of those two that had any sort of injury in his career, but he's bounced back in a severe way since then. It's going to be fun tracking this running back position. It was good to speak to both of those guys.
Yeah, it was, and I really like I love Walter Nolan. I think I stood on the table for him a little while ago on the draft show, and talking to him today made me feel a lot better about it too. I love the competitive fire that he's got, and he's what impressed me the most was how Nick, you brought it up. He was the number one player in his high school class. When he entered the transfer portal, he was the number one player in the transfer portal. He talked about how he's kind of had that X on his back his entire career, and he's been double-teamed, triple-teamed. I asked him when he came up to us before we started, I was like, how tired are you of double teams? He's just like, man. And you see him, and he's like, man, we thought we would have had more one-on-ones. I faced more doubles yesterday than anything. Yeah. So he's a guy who draws that attention, and with that, it opens things up. So when you look at how he could fit in Dallas, man, if you've got a double Walter Nolan, then if you bring Oso Odigizua back, that's one less guy he's got to worry about. It's one less guy that Micah Parsons has to worry about on the outside. So when you combine those guys together, I mean, it's going to be hard for opposing defenses. And Walter talked about it at the end of our interview. He was like, yeah, that could be pretty special.
I'm with you, Tommy. I think he's going to be a really good pro. It's not only the size, but we'll dive into practice notes from yesterday. Yeah. But yesterday, the speed to power stuff is so impressive, and it's the short area quickness. Like he'll give a little bit of room. He'll give up a little bit of room on the line of scrimmage to his opposition, but he turns that into that short area quickness, and he just leverages it into that upper body power, and it's so impressive. And you saw him use that to get around and through guys yesterday. You've seen him do it at Texas A&M, Ole Miss, and in high school back in Tennessee. I mean, he's a really impressive player. I think he's going to be a great pro.
Not comparing them as players, even though they do play on the defensive line, but the first thing when he started speaking on the headset today, it threw me back to when we were talking to Micah Parsons during the draft process. Same kind of cadence and same kind of competitive nature and the way that he was looking ahead and looking at his film and the guys around him and the confidence level too. I mean, he just exudes confidence. And that's what it threw me back to whenever we would sit down for these 30 visits and have an interview with these prospects. Micah was one of those guys. Wasn't the best on a headset, but you could tell that there was just something there. Same kind of thing with Walter Nolan that we talked about a little bit earlier, and he had that competitive edge. Like you said, let's dive into practice. National team was up first on the week. They started yesterday, Hancock Whitney Stadium on the campus of South Alabama. Some of your initial thoughts. I'll start with you, Tommy, on what you saw in that first practice and who stood out.
Yeah, my favorite player yesterday was Oregon linebacker Jeffrey Bassa. I thought he was phenomenal. Just athletically, he was the fastest guy there yesterday from the linebackers and tight ends group. He ran over 20 miles an hour. And that closing speed to me in the one-on-ones, the rep that I saw, I put it on Twitter. He went up against Donovan Edwards, and Donovan Edwards is known for his speed at every level, one of the faster running backs in this class, and he tracked him down the sideline and broke him a pass. There was a late throw. Edwards still beat him, but the fact that he was able to make up 3 or 4 yards of ground to be able to be in the vicinity to make that play was impressive to me. And then you watched him in the 11-on-11 period. I thought he filled his gaps well, played good against the run, and they sent him out. He looked like a corner in some of these reps when he's going out and covering these tight ends and these running backs in that full team practice period. So listed at 6'1", 226 pounds, 78-inch wingspan. I thought he was fantastic. And then flipping it onto the offensive side, Ariante Ursure, one of the guys we've talked about extensively on the draft show already from Minnesota, the offensive tackle. I know Wolchuk and Broadus were talking about how, maybe those feet are a little bit slow. And I don't think that concern is nullified completely. I think that's a very valid concern, and you've got to keep an eye on that. But his just pure strength yesterday, and that's what we talked about on the draft show too, how he's just able to keep guys in front of him, extend those arms, and keep him out of the backfield. I thought he was phenomenal, and we talked to him a little bit too after practice, and he was great, just as a person and a great character.
You asked him how to say his name.
Yeah, how to pronounce the name. He was like, it was like Ariante, like the air we breathe, and he had the hand motion too. It was phenomenal.
He was great.
It was phenomenal.
Good dude.
But yeah, so you just overpowered guys is what stood out to me from Ursure, one of the better tackles we saw in one-on-one. So again, not to say that the slow feet aren't a concern. I think Broadus and Wolchuk have a point there, but the power stood out to me.
Yeah, I think for me yesterday, I'll back up what you had on Bassa. Man, he looks like $1 million. You talk about his physical stature. If you're talking about an all-lobby team, you see the guys walk through the lobby. Who's the most impressive? I think Bassa had probably the most impressive build of anyone I saw, just for what he is pound for pound. My overall MVP yesterday on day one, another Oregon Duck, was Josh Connerly, the offensive tackle for the Ducks. I think coming into this process, you probably would have seen him go late first round, maybe early second round. Dog, I'm starting to start the OT1 agenda. He had an incredible day yesterday. I've had experience evaluating Connerly going back to his high school days at Seattle O'Day, and I think what he does best is the upper body power and strength, and he's marrying that so well now here later in his career with his movement at the tackle position. He didn't have one loss yesterday in one-on-ones, and whenever they put the guys in the middle of the field that have been dominating for most of the day at the end of practice, he continued to do that. UCLA edge Oluwafemi Oladejo, he probably had the better day of the edges for the national team yesterday, and he went up against Connerly, and Connerly just stonewalled him. The notes that I had yesterday, dominated one-on-one reps against both speed and power guys. He was getting sought out by guys on a hot streak, and he stopped them in their tracks. Super impressive day, and I'm cooking up the OT1 agenda for Josh Connerly. But looking at some other guys.
How strong is that OT1 agenda? Is that something that is possible in a draft like this? Because
I think so.
We had already talked about the offensive tackles on this show previously, and the general consensus is that there's not a far and away number one. I know Kelvin Banks is probably the favorite in that clubhouse from Texas to maybe be that first offensive tackle taken, maybe Will Campbell from LSU, but it's not like it's a foregone conclusion that those guys are the top of the top.
Yeah, and it's not a foregone conclusion that those guys are tackles too.
That's
and
true.
I think there's a conversation to be had there. I think Connerly went from that late first round, early second round to a cemented top 15, top 18 pick yesterday.
In one day?
And I think so. And
wow.
We saw a similar type of rise for Quinyon Mitchell last year, which was a guy that I think on the defensive side of the ball that had a very similar day to Quinyon yesterday. We'll get that here in a bit. But we saw that with Quinyon Mitchell last year where it was like, okay, this guy comes from a small school. We're thinking early second round. And then he dominated both days. And it was really actually the second day for Quinyon that really kind of stamped it for him, that he would be one of the first defensive backs taken, and he ended up being the first defensive back taken. So I think Josh Connerly had a very similar day. I mean, he looks great. I don't think he has any bad weight. He has great movement. He has great power. He has a great punch. This is a really talented player. Comes from a talented pedigree from where he came from in Seattle. This is a dude you would want to buy stock on. The stock might already be high, but I say continue to buy stock. Looking at some other guys really quick, Mike Green, I think he does indeed have those length limitations. Whenever you see that on the field, it certainly does show up, but his explosiveness, his craftiness, it really makes up for it. We talked to him yesterday on the draft show.
Too.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal, Ben. Elijah Arroyo, the Miami tight end, he's a Frisco native.
Can I talk about him real quick?
Absolutely, go ahead.
He was my MVP yesterday, and what he brought to the table from a receiving element was a little bit of a surprise for me. I knew he was a great blocker. That was what I kind of went into it knowing. Of course, he's a Frisco product. I called his games in high school at Frisco Independence, and he was a great receiver in high school, had some trouble putting production up early in Miami, but got better as his career went along. Yesterday, he was torching people.
Yeah, he was.
He was absolutely torching linebackers. They switched to nickel on him a couple times. Didn't matter. He was still able to find separation. There was one play in team drills after just dominating the one-on-one session. There was one play in team drills. He leaked out as like a late release, and he kind of worked up the sideline on an out and up. And then as he did so, he had maybe 5 yards of separation. Dylan Gabriel, quarterback for the national team, hesitated, kind of kept it in the pocket, was staring him down the whole time. If he put that ball on the money and timed it up perfectly, it would have been 6 all day, every day, and it was from about the 45-yard line in. So Arroyo had the best day out of any pass catcher that I saw in both practices, for my opinion. And it was a tight end, and I think that goes a long way, especially when you pair it with what he can do as a blocker, and his size is solid too. He's got some great length, got some good arm strength as well. I like what Elijah Arroyo did yesterday from the tight end position. Not that I know we've talked about the Cowboys interested in a tight end? Are they not? We'll decide that really moving forward. He was really impressive on day one.
Yeah, I think another pass catcher that really shined yesterday, another Oregon Duck, we're just going to continue to talk about him, Tez Johnson, out of the slot. Man, you talk about his shiftiness, his ability to create separation. It was certainly there. I'm just going to run through some quick notes really quick. Donovan Ezeruaku, the Boston College edge, really loved his length and size. I kind of had some questions coming into Mobile about his size. I think I talked about it on the show a little bit yesterday. He's plenty long. He's just fine. He's physical and explosive in his pass rush. He's adept at seeking out the off-script stunts. Like when he misses on his first guy, he will find a way to kind of get that off-script stunt going. Anais Peebles, I know this is one that Tommy shouted out on Twitter yesterday, had a great day in the run game from the 3-tech spot. I think he specializes in the pass rush, but seeing him take that step in the run game was really awesome yesterday. I talked about Oladejo, the UCLA edge. Man, he flashed multiple times. Talk about speed. Talk about length. He's got both of those things. I think for him, it was really impressive. And then the later afternoon practice for the American team, my MVP was Kentucky cornerback Maxwell Hairston. Nothing got in the way of him. He matched up against speed and physical receivers. He dominated both. Quick out of his breaks, patient but decisive. Really love his hands at the line of scrimmage. I think he could play both press and zone schemes. I think he's going to be a guy that can be versatile at the next level. I like him as an outside corner, but I think you have versatility with a guy like Hairston. Talk to his trainer that's been working with him during the draft process after practice and what's been going in to his evaluation process and his draft process here early on. There's some really big excitement about him. It actually reminds me of another Kentucky corner last year in Andrew Phillips, whenever he was like, about a third, fourth round mention around this time, and then eventually found himself to be a number 39 overall pick. I mean, this is a special corner, I think. TJ Sanders out of South Carolina, as advertised. I mean, you talk about marrying
awesome.
Power with finesse out of the interior.
Him and Walter Nolan on the offensive or the defensive line together.
That was the best pairing.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Cool.
We need to have a conversation about Deion Walker.
Yeah,
and I think, you see the size at what is it, 6'7", 351, and he's certainly got it. I mean, this I can verify. Sources can verify this dude is in fact very large. He needs to get lower at the point of attack,
yes,
and I think if he's able to do that, he's going to be impossible to defend. And I don't think it's something that's unteachable at the next level. I've seen a lot of criticism around Deion Walker for his pad level coming into the process, and yesterday was a really bad day for him in that category. Yeah. He went up against North Carolina center, I'm blanking on his name. Willie Lampkin, 5'11", and 270. So definitely a size difference, and he was stonewalling him. He was keeping Deion Walker in his place. There's no reason a guy 80 pounds lighter and almost 8 inches shorter than him should be able to have that kind of strength advantage against him. And that's why if Deion Walker can figure out how to get off the line of scrimmage and get lower up into his guys rather than kind of towering down, then I think he's going to be a really talented pro. If I were a team, I would take the chance on him, and I would take the chance on my coaching staff to be able to teach him to do that. Yeah. Like how confident are you in your interior defensive line coaching to be able to say, okay, can we teach this guy to do that? No? Okay, we're not going to draft him. Yes, let's do it. I'll take that risk in the second round.
He has
That's
all
me.
the puzzle pieces, but they're all spread out on the table.
Absolutely.
You got to have somebody, the right person, to come in and put it all together.
I don't think this team has the luxury to do that. We're talking about the Cowboys. I don't think they have the luxury to do that right now. But if they did select him in maybe the third round, you wouldn't get a complaint from me.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I mean, I like TJ Sanders more than Walker coming into this weekend. I mean, this is a guy that I know I talked about a little bit on the draft show too. Just so smart and strong. He does such a good job of diagnosing what the play is going to be early, identifying where the ball carrier's at, getting into pursuit in the run game. At times, that kind of bites him in the back. He gets taken out of the play, but yesterday, it didn't. I mean, and maybe that has to do partly with having Walter Nolan next to him. We mentioned the double and triple teams. But even regardless, I mean, in one-on-ones, they did a good job of shedding blocks, getting into the backfield. Just so much power, so much quickness to explode into the backfield, and he weighed in and measured in pretty well. So we'll move to the American team now. Are we good with that? Do you have any more national team notes? Okay.
Nick already rattled off a bunch of American names. And he was the one that wanted us to go in chronological order.
He did.
Over here.
Well, we're going off script. That's fine. Sticking on the defensive line, 2 edge guys that stood out to me yesterday, and we wrote about that. We're going to put a piece up on this on DallasCowboys.com. We look at the notebook from yesterday. Lone Star Showdown guys in Texas A&M, Shamar Stewart, and Texas's Barron Sorrell. I'll start with Stewart. He had the longest wingspan out of any edge rusher here in Mobile, and the second was your guy from Boston College. Mm-hmm. So you talked about his length and what you're able to do. Stewart's one of those guys that at Texas A&M I felt like the production wasn't necessarily there, and you didn't get to see what he was at his best. Now, whether that's a Texas A&M issue or whether that's a Shamar Stewart issue, we'll see. But he had the rep of the day yesterday. He went up against a tackle from, forgive me for trying to figure this out, Kansas. Logan Brown, the tackle from Kansas, 6'6", 312-pound tackle from Kansas. And Shamar Stewart coming in at 6'5", 281 pounds. He just bull rushed him and picked him off the ground with his left hand, I think it was.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
And just threw him back and just kind of stood over him. I was like, oh, boy.
Tommy and I both oohs and ahs.
Yeah, the oohs and ahs.
We were probably the quietest out of anybody, and we were on the scouting side. So that tells you something.
Exactly.
Everybody on the scouting side was like, oh, my gosh.
Yeah, exactly. He was just so powerful, so quick, and just quick to get up there and get that bull rush started, and Brown didn't stand a chance. And so that really impressed me. And then Barron Sorrell from Texas, this is a guy that I watched for 3 years when I covered Texas, and I wasn't really wowed at any point. Like, sure, he made his plays, but it wasn't a guy that I thought at the NFL level would necessarily be an attractive prospect. I thought he was better against the run in college and setting the edge for Texas, but he did really good in one-on-ones yesterday. I was very impressed and still showed a good job setting the edge. I think the play that I posted on Twitter, he gets past his guy and immediately just sticks his hand out to set the edge and make sure that he's in the right spot. So in one-on-one drills, he impressed me too. So both the edges from the state of Texas, I thought did a pretty good job.
That's a credit to Jim Nagy and what he builds in terms of the staff here.
Absolutely.
To scout these guys, because like you said, the production may not have been there during his time in Texas, but the strength and the quickness that we saw off the edge yesterday shows, okay, he should be here because he stood out on day one as one of the guys to really look forward to. Now, Nick, you kind of teased it a little bit. Quinyon Mitchell had the meteoric rise, I guess, in last year's Senior Bowl week. You had a similar prospect. Can I take a guess as to who it is, or do you think I would get it?
I said who it was already.
You did?
Yeah, it was Josh Connerly.
Oh, I was going to say Upton Stout from Western
Oh,
Kentucky.
no.
So I would have gotten it wrong.
Maybe you misheard me. My bad. It was more so like Quinyon Mitchell. Whenever he came here last year, he already had high expectations, but like he's cemented them, and that's what I'm meaning about Josh Connerly. No, but I see what you're saying about Upton Stout. Please,
Upton Stout yesterday. It was a rough day for the secondary, I thought, across the board, outside of guys like Hairston and outside of guys like Upton Stout, who I thought had a great day yesterday. Couple of pass breakups. He was sticky in coverage. He was able to run the route almost for a couple of guys in that one-on-one period, which is so tough on corners, especially at the collegiate level. You don't do that a whole lot in college practices. If anything, it's the high school showcase, and then you do it at the college showcase like we had this week, and then you barely get to do it in training camp as well throughout the NFL tenure. But that's a competition level, too. He comes in here, and he had plenty of pass breakups along the way. I think he had 2 yesterday that I counted during the team period, and he had a couple of others where he just at least altered the pass or had a quarterback go away from it through the progression. Really good, solid fluidity. I like the way his hips turn. He stays square to the ball. He stays square to the receiver and able to make some plays in that case. What did you see from Stout yesterday that impressed you? Out of Western Kentucky, by the way.
Yeah, I think this is if you're talking about versatility pieces in the secondary and
inside out.
We'll figure out what the Matt Eberflus defensive scheme exactly, prioritizes when it comes to defensive personnel. But if we look back to, what this team has been over the course of the last 5 years, it's finding those versatile pieces. We talked about it yesterday on the show. And I think if Upton Stout's a guy that's there for you on day 3, I think he should be a day 2 type guy. I would put probably a third or fourth round grade on him, just kind of depending.
Kind of where I had him as a 4th.
He's a guy that can play corner. He can play nickel. He can play safety. He's got experience at all 3 spots, and he has played big competition. Western Kentucky does load up in the non-con, and he has some. They played Alabama in Tuscaloosa this past season.
He covered Ryan Williams, who of course was the freshman for Alabama, who had a great year. He covered Williams in that game multiple times.
Yeah, Houston North Shore product. Started his career at North Texas. Go Mean Green. Right here. But it's going to Western Kentucky. He really shined. And he had an opportunity to hit the transfer portal this time last year and had some big-time offers. I know there was 2 Big Ten schools off the top of my head that were trying to get his services. He decided to stay home with the Hilltoppers and had a good year. And now it's going to turn into a really good draft process for him. But if he can stack another day here, it's going to be big time.
Yeah, I not want to put the first-round grade on it like a Quinyon Mitchell last year, because that's not where he's at. He's more so just a rise in the mid-rounds.
Yeah.
But I was thinking you were talking small school corners who had a great day
I know
yesterday.
what you're saying. Yeah.
And that's where I was at. So I was waiting. I thought you were going to bring it up, and you ended up doing it with Hairston from Kentucky. So that makes a lot of sense in its own right. But lots more to come throughout the week. Yep. We've got more practice today. We're going to head over to the to Hancock Whitney Stadium very shortly. Watch both the national team and the American team get after it again. And then we've got more coverage coming to you on DallasCowboys.com. Nick Harris with the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Be sure to follow Tommy Yarrish as well. Rising star, right?
Oh, right? Too kind.
Yeah, if we're talking about evaluating, we got a first-round pick right here. Come on now.
Tommy _Yarrish on Twitter. First year of the Senior Bowl, he's already doing a great job. And, of course, we had Will McClay yesterday talking
and to the media up there in Mobile. We expect to have somebody else from the front office today. I don't want to say who because we don't know who just yet, but we expect to have somebody else speaking to the media today. Lots more to come from Mobile, Alabama. I want to thank Scott Purcell, Chris Beam for getting us on the air, for Tommy Yarrish, Nick Harris, and our entire group of guests that we had today. Walter Nolan from Ole Miss, Jared Ivey from Ole Miss as well, RJ Harvey from UCF, and Devin Neal from Kansas. Want to sign off? I'm Kyle Youmans. We'll see you next time with more of the Draft Show presented by Miller Lite.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!